If I were them, I'd worry less about the polls and more about the closing message. I think she made a big mistake by engaging on the issue of John Kelly's comments about Donald Trump being a fascist. She basically spent 2 days talking about that. And that's not a winning issue for her. Everybody who already thinks that or who will be touched by that is already in her camp. The problem she's got is that she's been a presidential candidate for less than 3 months. And the American people are saying, do I know enough about you to feel comfortable putting you in the Oval Office behind the Resolute desk for the next 4 years?
Well, let's take a listen to the Trump campaign. By the way, this is News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Chris Krok Show. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. And we're going to I'm going to play a couple of quick clips that will go right to your wall-to-wall calls. We were called garbage tonight by Biden.
Rico, where I'm in my
Let's start over on that.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
All right, here is Rubio and Trump tonight reacting at the rally.
All right, well, I wasn't going to say anything, but I have breaking news for you, Mr. President. You may not have heard this. Just moments ago, Joe Biden stated that our supporters are garbage. He's talking about the Border Patrol. He's talking about nurses. He's talking about teachers. He's talking about everyday Americans who love their country and want to dream big again and support you, Mr. President. And I hope their campaign is about to apologize for what Joe Biden just said. We are not garbage. We are patriots who love America. And thank you for running, Mr. President.
That is tonight in Pennsylvania. It's on my Twitter feed if you'd like to see that. Here is Kamala tonight at the Ellipse. Not a good message, not a winning message.
They did not struggle, sacrifice, and lay down their lives only to see us cede our fundamental freedoms. They didn't do that only to see us submit to the will of another petty tyrant.
And there's this, too.
We know who Donald Trump is. He is the person who stood at this very spot nearly 4 years ago and sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol to overturn the will of the people in a free and fair election.
Okay, you heard Rove say this is bad. Don't do this. You're going to lose. And that's their closing message along with We Are Garbage tonight. Frank Luntz, the independent pollster, who to me has never struck me as a Trump fan or, et cetera, he said today that he torches, the leftist media reports, Frank Luntz torches Kamala Harris over negative campaign. He says, we already know everything there is to know about Trump. We've heard everything there is. We've lived through it. We really should be talking about Vice President Harris. Why has she not caught on? What's holding her back? It's a focus on Trump rather than herself. And at what point is she going to tell the American people what she's about? The most important attribute right now is that. And he says, I don't see this happening. Affordability, the border. She still hasn't said what she's going to do, and she's got only 7 days to go. I'm wondering if she's too late. Well, now you got this message tonight. Is it a winning message? Whose side seems happy tonight and this week and right now in the campaign? Whose side seems hoogity boogity boogie? That's literally the Kamala campaign. Hoogity boogity. Ah! Ah! That's what their campaign message is. Hoogity boogity boogie. Ah! Ah! That's their message over and over again. Hoogity boogity boogie. Ah! Ah! We're all gonna die. Ah! Little Dean in there. My question, and you got to Rep Debbie Deagle saying to Jake Tapper today, he might have to visit her in an internment camp if Trump wins. So that's their message, their closer from across the board. And my question is this a winning message? Who's happy and who's not, Trump or Kamala, as far as the way their campaigns are campaigning? And are you garbage? Do you feel garbage? I mean, look, Joe clearly said it tonight. And will that work? Is this going to work? What are your top concerns? 1, 2, 3 concerns. Is it Nazi, fascist threat to democracy or something else? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. John, you are not on the phone, so let's go to Trey. Trey in Duncanville. Hello, this is WBAP.
Yes, I love Joe Biden. He's so wonderful. I think this is a beautiful thing. He's making Trump. He's improving Trump's odds of winning. The Democrats have throughout history have demonized regular day Americans, people who vote for Trump and his ilk. And I think they're just self-destructive. I think, and also too, Biden he is torpedoing Kamala Harris's campaign. I think this is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing gift. I thanked Joe tonight. I retweeted that as soon as I got it and said, "Thank you, Joe Biden. We love you. We appreciate you. Please keep saying things." I appreciate your great call. Let's now go to Angie. Angie Arlington. Hello. What is up? What do you got? WBAP.
Hey, Chris. I am just laughing at how ridiculous all of this stuff is. First of all, Puerto Rico is my happy place. So it was kind of funny that Bye Bye Biden started out saying he was from Puerto Rico. And then
yes, you didn't know that? He's a Puerto Rican Jew who grew up in Puerto Rico and was at the local synagogue worshiping with his fellow Jews.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
And you're garbage.
I know. I have found that out. And you know what? I didn't think I needed Joe Biden to tell me that, but hey, whatever.
Is this a winning message?
Oh, it's garbage. The message is garbage because they don't say anything that they're going to do in specifics. It's all generic. It's first day one, we're going to show the American people how good we are. And there's no distinct policy. So my top concerns are inflation and the border and really the lawlessness that we're experiencing in this country.
Okay,
because
so go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, because people are getting away with lying to us and just telling bald-faced lies, fact-checking when they're trying to cover up it.
Like the crime stats are good, they're not bad. Yeah,
all of it.
So that you talk about the lies and all that stuff, and illegality and stuff. So does that mean that they're saying fascist and threat to democracy is working? Is that one of your top three issues? You said economy and immigration.
Yeah, but they're projecting. So the fascist and the anti-democracy is actually coming from the left.
I agree. Whatever they're accusing you of is what they're doing. That's how they work.
Yeah.
So you it sounds like you might appreciate Biden saying that we're garbage. I mean, do you think that helps our side, the Trump supporters, when he says we're garbage?
I think it just really highlights what they really believe.
Who are you seeing?
I think it was unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
And yeah, and it just kind of displays. I do think he's trying to tank Kamala because I think he's a little ticked that he didn't get to stay on the ticket.
He can't wait to say, look, you should have left me on there, I think. He hates Hussein Obama now. Okay, last thing is, which side to you seems happy? Or, which side is happy? And because the happy ones win. They really do.
Yeah, Trump is so laid back, and he's so in control, and they keep trying to portray him as deranged and unstable and all these things, and they're the only ones that are running off and ranting constantly.
That's what's interesting. He's supposed to be unstable and a threat to democracy, and he didn't call anybody garbage. Biden just said we're all of us. So you have deplorables first. Then you have, there's a kind of list of things. Boom, boom, boom. You got, first we're deplorables. Then we are, I guess, I don't know what, a threat to democracy. And then now we're like garbage. So it's quite interesting, isn't it?
It's the narrative. It's the only thing they've got to stand on is to try to project all this stuff.
I appreciate, go ahead.
No substance.
Angie, I do appreciate your great call from Arlington. I appreciate you, and you have a great night. Thank you very much. We have two lines open for the first time in an hour and 15. Joe Biden calls us garbage tonight. Literally, Trump supporters are garbage. He literally said those exact words tonight. Kamala says, the ellipse was saying that this is exactly where Trump was when he led an insurrection, an armed insurrection. Nobody was armed in that. There were no guns. The only person shot was Ashley Babbitt. There was a sliver of people in there that really should go to jail for a long time. The rest of them are trespassing and should have been given trespassing tickets that say if you do anything, even such as a slight little misdemeanor on any federal property over the next 10 years, we're going to put you in jail or something, and then here's a heavy, nice fine for $1,000 or $2,000. Don't ever come back to a federal property again. So we're going to continue with this. Nate Silver just said something, the revered Democrat pollster, and I will be sharing what he said. None of this is good tonight. Boy, I think somebody made a good point. Biden got his revenge tonight, and it ain't on Trump. Wow, this is insane, guys. This frickin' party is pointing fingers at each other. They're blaming each other. This is a terrible end to this campaign for Kamala. This could not be worse. This could not be worse. Nobody's top three are threat to democracy. If they are, it's number three after economy. Let me tell you something. You don't freaking care about Trump and being a nasty or a jerk or this and that. If you can't afford to feed your family, if you can't pay your gas bills, if you can't heat your home, if you can't cool your home, if you can't drive in your car, if you can't afford to insure your car, if you can't afford to buy a house, you don't care about this crap. That is what I think it was. Who was it? It was one of the pollsters said that today. And that's so true, isn't it? My goodness. All right. One line open. 800-288-WBAP is our number. Coming up next, one analyst in the Daily Mail predicts the polls are missing a hidden voter surge. Which side is it? I'll tell you. That is next on the Chris Krok Show. 800-288-WBAP is our number. Coming up at 19 after the hour on WBAP.
I think what some voters are struggling with, and we've heard this across the state, is when you discuss your plans, they come back and ask, well, why haven't you done it already?
Well, I'm not president.
You're vice president.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to tell you what I'm doing as president when I have the ability then to do what I know based on my experience is a new approach that is about building on the good work that has happened. But there's more to do. There's more to do.
You could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right?
And then there was this tonight from Joe Biden.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is just supporters.
Well, thank you for calling us garbage tonight. The revered Democrat pollster Nate Silver saying tonight that if Harris loses, you're going to get a hot take with the power of Arcturus from me about Joe Biden. That means he's going to go after him big time. And then he also said tonight, somebody said, well, if she wins, he says, didn't you get a hot take from me about how she did a pretty good job despite Biden doing everything possible to F it up, full word. And so she also said tonight that Trump is a threat to democracy. She was on the ellipse. She said this is where Donald Trump led an arms insurrection or whatever. All that stuff. Is this a good look? Who's the happy warrior? And are you garbage? And what are your top concerns? Is Nazi fascist threat to democracy in one of them? 800-288-WBAP is our number. Let's go to Lou in the Woodlands by Houston. You are on WBAP. Let's go.
Good evening.
Evening.
My number one issue is a threat to democracy. This administration, and it actually started with Obama, but this administration has been dismantling our constitutional republic with things like vaccine mandates for people who lose their job, attacking and trying to control freedom of the press, trying to reduce our arms, trying to put your political opponents in jail. That's a threat to democracy.
It's also in the she farmed out. She's hired the liberal Democrat, what do you call it, the Labor Party, to come in and tell her how to win like they did. They hid that he was a far leftist, and now that he won in this past year, he's gone full leftist as president. What do you call it, as prime minister? And she hired them. And one of the top three things on the email they sent was on their plans was kill Twitter. So that goes along with what you're saying.
Yeah, I know. Freedom of speech, yeah. and that's the one thing that I think the news media, which is to me, Trump calls them, the enemy of the people, and they are, because
yes, they are.
They're suppressing news, and they have actually, if you really think about it, demonized the man for 9 years. And the reason that he's surviving, because I think as he's been out more, especially this time, I think people realize, hey, he's just like one of us. But a threat to democracy, open borders, which letting criminals in.
What do you think about you being garbage? Looking at the headlines on CNN, on CNN right now. Here's what it says on CNN right now. This is bad for the Democrats, for Kamala. Okay, look, it says breaking news: Biden, quote, "I wasn't referring to Trump supporters as garbage." That's what they're talking about tonight. There you go.
Deplorables, we're fascists.
Not a good message, huh? Not a good message, huh?
No, it's a stupid message, but she's a stupid person as far as I'm concerned. And, any Democrat, and unfortunately I have my family's originally from the West Coast, some are still there. It's hard for them to understand that if somebody feels they got screwed in an election, and frankly Trump did, and he has a right to complain all of a sudden because he's a Republican, he has no right to object. But look at Hillary Clinton, what she did. Look what Al Gore did in 2000. Look at that stupid witch did in 2004. I can't think of her name
Don't call names like that, I would say, because that's what they're doing to us, and we should be above that. I appreciate your call. I got to roll. The direct quote J.D. Vance just tweeted out, the only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. I mean, there's no gray area here. Joe giving a nice gift to Kamala and to us to let us know what they really think of us. And that is pretty amazing tonight. I'm grateful that he said that and told the truth. Is this a winning message that Trump's a fascist, Nazi, and we are Nazi supporters and we're garbage? Will it work? And who's happy and who's not? Which side is happy? Which one's not? We have two lines open for the first time in an hour and a half. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. We've got John and then Al, and we've got Steven. All you guys will be pop next. We got two lines open, 800-288-WBAP. I want to tell you what the project director on Reagan's polling team, and later was his presidential speech writing and research office, he is seeing some very serious similarities to Reagan in Trump right now, and what the polls were like with Carter. I will share the details on that coming up next, plus your call at 800-288-WBAP is our number, and 800-288-9227 on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3, 800-288-WBAP.
I want you to listen to something that is making the rounds right now, certainly by the Trump campaign, by Senator J.D. Vance and others, what President Biden had to say about this tonight.
Just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Governor, first off, just what's your response to that comment from President Biden, where it sounds like he's calling Trump supporters there garbage?
Yeah, look, I had not heard that until now, Caitlin, so I'm kind of giving you my fresh reaction to it. I would never insult the good people of Pennsylvania or any Americans, even if they chose to support a candidate that I didn't support.
It's Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who was not picked for VP because he's a Jew.
I hate to be the skunk at the garden party here, but I think, I plan political events for a living, and I think this was political malpractice to put her in front of this White House. 68% of Americans think that the country's on the wrong track, and they blame Joe Biden, and increasingly they're blaming Kamala Harris. By standing in front of that White House tonight, she's going to own all 68% of that disapproval. And, I think it's a comfort reason. I think Northwest Washington, D.C. is about her best precinct in America. Everybody.
All right. That is what we got from a analyst on CNN tonight. Political malpractice to put her in front of the White House. Anyway, it's just glorious for us tonight, and it's terrible messaging for them. And this is amazing because everybody is focusing tonight on Joe Biden. The headlines on CNN tonight are Joe Biden saying this. He has once again stolen her thunder, and it's the most beautiful, glorious thing in the world. You and I are garbage. Meanwhile, she was on the ellipse saying Trump's a threat to democracy, January 6th, all that other stuff. My question is, you're garbage, number one, just to tell you that, according to Joe Biden, and Kamala and him are lockstep. So obviously that's how the Democrats feel about us, at least the leaders do. we're garbage. And Rep. Debbie Dingell tells us tonight on Jake Tapper, he said that Jake might have to visit her in an internment camp if Trump wins. Kamala says Nazi rally, fascist, and such. So is this a winning message? How do you feel about you being called garbage tonight if you're a Trump supporter? And is this demonization message of Trump and Nazi and fascist and threat to democracy, is that going to work? Who's happy right now? Is it Trump campaigning happy, or is Kamala campaigning happily? Because that's the winning message, the sweet nectar that causes people to end up deciding to vote for somebody, is feeling like they're voting for a winning team. And what are your top concerns tonight in the election? Is it the economy? Is it immigration? Is it Nazi fascist threat to democracy stuff? Just one or two or three top ones for you, whatever they are. It might only be one, might be three. 800-288-WBAP is our number. One line is open. Let's go first to Stephen. Stephen in Dallas. Hello, WBAP. Oh, wait, hold on one sec, Stephen. There you are. Sorry, go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, good afternoon. My concerns for America, I've noticed this a lot, starting with Hillary on through.
Deplorables.
And I'm thinking the more and more they try to divide us, the worse and worse it gets. I mean,
for them?
Look back.
You mean for them?
For everybody.
Okay.
I mean, it's like since Trump beat Hillary, and everybody that was a Hillary supporter, whether it was man or woman, if you had anything to say about Hillary, whether it was good or bad, and you didn't vote for Hillary, you were demonized, screamed at, cussed at, called a whatever.
Trump tonight is saying, please forgive Biden for that saying. He says he doesn't know. Please forgive him for not knowing what he said. These people, terrible thing to say, but really he does not know. Honestly, he doesn't. I'm convinced that he likes me more than he likes Kamala, but that's a terrible thing. That's the happy warrior take. That's how you win. One line open, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. John in Detroit City, where the swing state of Michigan is. You are on WBAP. What's up?
Hey, that last caller had a good point with the people who were mad that Hillary lost. But I'm a deplorable garbage person here. Whenever people want to say that Trump's a threat to democracy, I like to answer with, like he was the last time he was president.
Yes.
And somebody said to me, oh, he's going to get us into World War III. I said, don't you mean 4? Because he got us into World War III last time he was president.
Right.
And these people that start calling them Nazis, and I guess I'm a member of the Nazi Party, too. In the past 10 years, I've talked to 3 women who were Rosies during the war.
Yeah.
And I talked to a World War II veteran. And on Netflix, they got a video. It's about 58 minutes long, black and white, obviously, of the concentration camps when they were liberated. My friend's father was 3rd Armored Division. He helped liberate one of those concentration camps. These people... There was
a Nazi Holocaust survivor the other night at the Trump rally, too. He's a 93, 94-year-old. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you watch this 58-minute video on Netflix, there's no sound, but you see the horrors that happen to unarmed people in these concentration camps. These people who call Trump Nazis and Hitler and stuff, they need to watch this stuff. They need to talk to people, because I'm only 60 years old, but I'm highly offended.
Let's hear Ari Fleischer, who is a Jew. Listen to what he said about this today. And Ari's a very moderate Republican Bush guy. Here we go.
My mother came to the United States in 1939 because she fled the Nazis. She, her parents, and her brother were the few Hungarian relatives I have who saw the threat, left on what we believe was the last passenger ship to cross the Atlantic before the U-boats started to sink everything that moved across the Atlantic. The German Nazi U-boats. Most of my family perished in the Holocaust. I have very few relatives left. That's who the Nazis are. I don't need the Democrats to remind me of that. By making these things up, by making our American politics that the people who might beat them, the people they don't like because of domestic political issues, are fascists, are Nazis, Politically, it's the dumbest thing the Democrats could do. The few undecided who are left, anybody who hasn't made up their mind, they're the exact people who hate this type of rhetoric. And this is the Democrats' closing message. Morally, it's reprehensible.
Well, there he is. Couldn't have said it better. And we have also the revered former Washington Post guy, Chris Cillizza, saying tonight Biden's verbal gaffe, if that's what it was, and it wasn't, is an absolute nightmare for Harris' campaign. This is getting more attention than Harris' closing argument speech. Well, John, last closing thing is, what's your top issue or two? What are your top issues? Is it threat to democracy and all that stuff?
Well, the economy, obviously. I work at one of the big three. We were one of the first ones to go on strike last year. And that's the only reason why I'm doing better this year, is because we went on strike for more of the profits. I want my boss to make more profits so I can get more of the profit sharing here and get a better paycheck. But there's people around me that don't work at these factories, and they're hurting.
They suffer when you guys lose jobs. Yeah. Well, you look at this. The emissions rules from Kamala and Joe: 32% automakers sales have to be plug-in and hybrid. By 2032, no more than 29% of new cars can be powered gas-powered. Ergo, there will be one gas-powered model for every 2 electric cars on dealer lots. They talk about the layoffs: 200 that last month from Stellantis, 2,450 in August from Warren, Michigan. Stellantis last December in Detroit and Toledo cuts, and GM in December 945 workers in Orion, Michigan. $600 million to convert a plant to EV trucks. But GM delayed its restart because of the flagging EV demand. Belvedere, Illinois, 1,200 workers. Stellantis laid off from the EV stuff. $335 million to retrofit to make EVs. Stellantis tapped the brakes on this plan last month amid slow sales. The UAW study in 2019 projected EVs would kill 35,000 jobs at its plants. The workers who are making engines and transmissions today, their jobs will be eliminated when we make a transition to electric vehicles, said UAW Research Director Jennifer Kelly. So they're killing your jobs with this in Michigan. Yeah.
Exactly. In our employee parking lot, there's only one electric car charging port in the employee parking lot. At our union hall, there's 0. So the company and our union have no confidence in the electric vehicle.
That's right. Neither does America. Nobody wants them. In fact, 3/4 of the purchases are luxury EVs. They're not even people like you and me that can afford them or are going to buy them. Yeah, it's garbage.
I don't know of anyone who owns electric vehicles.
No, I don't need.
Most of the people. Yeah. Most of the people I work with are Trump supporters.
Yeah, I don't know any either. I have a friend who's got a relative, but other than that, I don't know anybody that owns one directly. John, I got to roll, but God bless you and everybody in Detroit City, brother, okay?
All right, you too.
All right. Before we go to your calls in a moment, Biden may have done some pretty significant harm to the Harris campaign, is what CNN quoted tonight as saying. And then you got Dark Biden. I retweeted that because he is Dark Biden. He came out tonight. He lashed out at Kamala to destroy her campaign. That's all CNN is talking about. And the mainstream is talking about tonight. It is a wonderful gift to us, and that's what they think of us. And by the way, J.D. Vance tomorrow. He's going to be on one of the most listened to shows in the world tomorrow. J.D. Vance outscooping Kamala and the horrible walls. This is an amazing time, an amazing moment. They're striking hard, and they're winning on the Trump campaign tonight with this. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Joe Biden called Trump's voters and supporters garbage directly tonight. And Kamala said that Trump is fascist, Nazi. J6 did it at the Ellipse tonight. This is where he launched this thing. Dark doom and gloom messaging tonight. Continuing, and according to Karl Rove, according to what's his name, the independent pollster Frank Luntz, this is a bad way to close. And the number one thing to remember I heard last week, which was really like, oh, that's brilliant. You don't want to be the one they're focusing on the last week of the campaign. If you do, you lose. If you're the one, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is bad. This is bad. What she did tonight is bad, and what Joe did tonight took what she did and ran with it and took the ball further into their territory to give us a touchdown against them tonight. It's brilliant. It's wonderful. I could not be happier tonight. This is their October surprise, but it's a gift to us. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. As promised, I'm going to tell you what a former Reagan polling team member and speechwriter and research office member said tonight. It feels to him, and I'll tell you why, that like it's the Carter Reagan campaign a week before, where it ended up being a bloodbath for Carter, defeated amazingly against by Reagan. He feels that's where it's headed right now. But I'll tell you why, what he says today in the Daily Mail column on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. That is coming up at 9:49 on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable.
Well, thank you, Joe. We're garbage. He stole the thunder of Kamala tonight at her ellipse speech, which vilified Trump, said he would, Nazi fascist, all that stuff, insurrectionist. Is this a winning message? Will it work? Which side is happy tonight, happy warrior-like, and which one's not? Because whoever's dour and doom and gloom is going to lose. What are your top concerns? Is it Nazi fascist threat to democracy? Is that one of them? Maybe you got one or two or three top concerns. Doesn't matter if it's only one or two. Just let me know on that too. 800-288-WBAP is our number. Remember, you are garbage if you support Trump. According to the Democrat Party leader of the free world, President A.J. Garland, WBAP. Hello in Garland. A.J., excuse me.
Hello, Chris. How are you tonight?
Good, sir. How are you?
Great. Hey, good show, and I'm glad you brought this topic up because it made me think how the Clintons and Biden and Harris and the propagandists of the corporate media elite, they seem to constantly be filled with hate to call us names and how terrible individuals we are. Mm-hmm. But with Trump, he specifically attacks his opponent or policies. Because if he had attacked, citizens of the United States,
I've never heard him do that. Yeah.
The propagandists of the media would never let it go. I've never heard him say that.
Yeah.
Wow. And that shows the character within him as well. And my top concern, of course, is the economy and border security.
It's not threat to democracy, Nazi fascist dictator stuff.
Not with Trump, it's not.
With anybody?
I'm going to say with what the Democrat elite have displayed over the past several years. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I appreciate your call. I want to go next to, there's some fiery stuff tonight on CNN. None of it's good for Kamala and Joe. Oh, it's rich. Dark Biden struck, but not on us, against himself and his team and his candidate, his vice president. All right, let's go next to, by the way, do you think she's going to condemn him? No, she loves her some Joe. Let's go to Justin. Justin in Gun Barrel City. Hello, this is WBAP. Hi, Justin.
Hello, how are y'all? Man, I just had some stuff to add. I find it very interesting that Joe Biden calls us trash. And I'm going to say this, and maybe it's not politically correct, but he is the trash. Him and his family are the trash. I mean, you've got Hunter Biden's laptop and all the stuff he was doing on it, and then gets his deceased brother's wife addicted to drugs, and I'm the trash?
Well, I don't want to call them. I don't want to call him and trash or anybody trash, but yeah, you're entitled to your opinion. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're more politically correct than I am.
No, I'm not politically correct. But I don't think any human being is trash. They do, and that's on them. But I don't think, I'm not saying you should think differently. I'm just telling you I don't agree with what you're saying. But go ahead. That's all.
Yeah, that's okay. But, and then you talk about, communism. Kamala Harris, that's her favorite thing, communism. Communist countries lock up their political opponents. And so they're the communists. They've tried to lock Trump up 5, 6, 7, 8 times. None of it has worked.
Yeah.
They have a liberal hive mind. They all, it's crazy. You watch CNN, MSNBC, and they all just say the same thing.
Well, unfortunately for Kamala tonight, CNN's not talking about it. There's meltdowns. It's quite incredible. You're going to hear that next. I appreciate your call, Justin. We have 3 lines open. This is a rare moment in the first 2 hours of the show. Tony and Alan, Jeffrey and Colleyville, you guys are next. Don't go anywhere. We're going to pop you on right off the bat. You're going to hear apoplectic reactions from Kamala backers. It is not good. From Fake News CNN tonight. This is tweeted out by the Trump War Room. This is on display for the world to see and for the remaining voters to see. What do you think? You're going to want to go, if you're undecided, towards the you're a piece of garbage if you support the other guy? Not attractive, is it? Plus, insurrectionist, threat to democracy. Do you care more about not being able to afford groceries? If you can't feed your family, then what does it matter if somebody is, quote, threat to democracy, fascist, when they were already in office for 4 years? I think this is good for us. It really is good for us. What a great closing message from Kamala. And by the way, what's his name? J.D. Vance, the Vice President, J.D. Vance candidate, will be on Joe Rogan tomorrow. A second damnation for the Kamala campaign, as they're still trying to work it out. And she wanted him to fly out to where she's at. And he's like, I've never interviewed anybody but in this studio. So either come on down here or not. And 1 hour, I don't even have to talk politics with you. He's like begging the woman, and she won't do it. And his vice presidential candidate for Trump is going to be on tomorrow before even once with her. This is devastating for her. I tell you right now, this is damning. All right, CNN apoplectic on this tonight. And if you've missed Biden calling us garbage, I'll play that for you too. That's coming up at 3 minutes after the hour on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. 800-288-9227 is our number.